What is up? It's NFL Week 10. I'm Ryan Weisse, and this is Club Fantasy's Streams of the Week. If you're new to the segment, welcome in. You should have been here last week. What I do is I pick my top 5 options at quarterback, tight end, and defense every week that are all available in 50% or more Yahoo leagues as of Wednesday after waivers have run. These are true streaming options. As I mentioned, I like to start with last week, week 9. Our quarterback hit, our tight end hit, our defense hit. We hit on all 3 of our streams of the week. You scored 41 fantasy point if you picked my options, not to mention all 5 of my defenses hit last week. I'm always good with defenses, but it's always nice to hit a 5 for 5. We haven't talked a lot about the season as a whole. If you've stuck with my top option every week, you've built the QB 14, the tight end 16, and the defense 4 so far on the season without ever blowing a draft pick. I want to get better at QB and tight end. Obviously, we're going to keep smashing defense, and that's going to start with week 10. I'm going to give you my top 5 guys, starting at 5, working our way up to the stream of the week. Number 5 this week is a little bit of a caveat. It's going to be whoever the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins is, Tua Tagovailoa or Jacoby Brissett. If it's Tua, I feel a lot more comfortable to taking on Baltimore. Baltimore's defense is just not good, and they force a lot of teams to play from behind. Garbage time points still count. That might be a theme with quarterback this week. Moving into number 4, Jimmy Garoppolo taking on the Los Angeles Rams. I actually think the Rams are going to beat San Francisco down in this game, but Garoppolo's had some really good games against the Rams, 3 touchdowns the last time they faced each other. Number 3 is going to be Trevor Lawrence taking on the Indianapolis Colts. If not now for Trevor, when? The Colts give up, I believe, the 3rd most points to quarterbacks in fantasy on the season. Lawrence hasn't looked good, but you got to pop at some point, and let's do it in a division game. Number 2 is going to be Trevor Simeon taking on the Tennessee Titans. The Saints didn't use Taysom Hill as much as I thought they would with Jameis Winston going down, so Simeon looked all right. He wasn't a great fantasy option, but he certainly wasn't bad. Tennessee's been hit or miss. They've certainly turned it on lately, but their offense is probably going to fall apart at some point, and that's going to mean big things for the other team's quarterback. Number 1 is going to be my boy, Taylor Heinke, the mathematician, taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Heinke has had great games. He's had bad games. Sometimes they're in the same game. I think it's going to be a garbage points game. You might not be happy with your score after the 3rd quarter, but you should be happy after the 4th quarter in a game where Washington should have to throw the ball a lot to play catch up. We're going to move over to tight ends before I trip over my tongue. Number 5 is going to be Adam Troutman. A lot of my tight ends are going to line up with quarterbacks. Adam Troutman taking on the Tennessee Titans. Troutman's starting to come into his own. We haven't seen a lot of Juwan Johnson, especially since Jameis Winston's been hurt. I think with the lack of wide receivers for the New Orleans Saints, Troutman's going to be leaned on in this game where they should have to throw. Number 4 is going to be Gerald Everett taking on the Green Bay Packers for Seattle. Everett has had a slow comeback off of the COVID list. He's had some injuries this season. I think he's finally starting to reincorporate himself in this offense. Seattle's going to have Russell Wilson back. I like that a lot better going against a pretty subpar Green Bay defense. Number 3 is going to be Tyler Conklin taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Conklin was a few catches away from a monster game last week, just missed. The Chargers give up a ton of points to the tight end. I expect to keep seeing it, especially if Dalvin Cook doesn't play this week. Number 2 is last week's number 1. I don't like to put the same guy at number 1, but it's Dan Arnold taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Again, I'm expecting a big week out of Trevor Lawrence. Dan Arnold, outside of Jamal Agnew, has been his favorite target. Colts can definitely be had by the tight end, so expect another big week out of Arnold. He's not going to be able to make this list much longer. And number 1, it's going to be another caveat. It's going to be whoever starts at tight end for the Washington football team. Logan Thomas was supposed to come off of IR this week. He's complaining of soreness. So it could be Logan Thomas. It could be Ricky Seals-Jones. If Thomas is playing, start Thomas. If he's not, start RSJ. The Bucs give up a ton of points to the tight end, and if you haven't caught on yet, I think the Washington football team is going to be throwing the ball quite a bit in this game. We're going to jump over to the defenses. Number 5 is going to be, and this is a little weird, the Tennessee Titans taking on the New Orleans Saints. I say weird because I like the Saints in this matchup. Here's the thing. They're going to turn the ball over. They're going to allow QB sacks. Both things can be true, especially in garbage time. Tennessee's defense has really stepped their game up lately. Number 4 is going to be the Denver Broncos taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Broncos defense has looked great. Honestly, you saw that against the Dallas Cowboys last week. Philadelphia already runs a game plan that keeps the game low scoring. I'm expecting a very low scoring game, which leads me to number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Denver Broncos. I think you're going to see quarterback sacks, low scoring game, couple of turnovers, and maybe a defensive touchdown. It's going to keep both of these teams inside of the top 10 for the week. Number 2 is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. If you've seen Patrick Mahomes play lately, not sure how much explanation this game means. Division games are always rough. I think we see Mahomes maybe turn the ball over once or twice again. And number one, I'm actually a little shocked they were available as they were the Cleveland Browns taking on the New England Patriots. I'm guessing this is because people were scared off of Joe Burrow last week. Mac Jones is not Joe Burrow, no offense. I think the Browns are going to be able to get after this team, especially if Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson do not play. The Browns are already great at stopping the run. If they barely have to focus on the run and can slow down the passing game, sacks, turnovers, and I think another defensive touchdown. We saw one last week. I'm going to call another one this week. Browns, not only my stream of the week, I won't be surprised if they're the number one fantasy defense in the week, top 5 for sure. So that's it. Those are my top guys at every position. So just to remind you of my top 3 streams of the week, it's Taylor Heinke taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then it's going to be whoever his starting tight end is also taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Cleveland Browns taking on the New England Patriots. I hope this helps you win some games. Please hit that subscribe button. That way you never miss any of the videos we post. We have a DFS show that's going to be on later on tonight. I do one of these videos every week. We do Thrive videos. We do showdown slates. You want to subscribe to this channel, but not only that, every time we hit a milestone, we give away free stuff. You want to be a part of Club Fantasy, and we appreciate you. Check the link in the description for Thrive Fantasy. It's our DFS player prop betting site. We give you free money to play there too. We want to give you things. We want you to subscribe to our channel. Good luck this week, unless you're playing me.